Fresskowy's moved his way across. Peach using the Gromp as a bit of a body block. Cease and desist onto Patrik. No flash on him, remember, as Fresskowy's going to get stunned up. But the root on Patrik's enough. The Senna to secure the kill. A super shot there. Jacky's tries to land the knockback onto Fresskowy. Has to burn the flash. Patrik low. Cease and desist on him once again. And the MF is just cold from the back of the fight. Now Fresskowy's going to join the fray. Another hook connects onto Jacky's.
I go Miss Fortune. No flash Miss Fortune. Casante. Yeah, I'm taking the kills. Okay, no flash on him. Nice.
I played this so good, but hey guys.
Well played, maybe.
And welcome back to our second elimination game of the day as GIANTX got 0 kills here in game 1. Guys, the last time this happened was spring 2023 against Mad Lions as well. But it's been a year. How crushing was this defeat on this side of GIANTX?
And to be fair, it is really a rare sight, and as we could see, the game was not a perfect game. They did get some turrets for GX, fortunately, but honestly, it doesn't look as good. And yeah, let's be honest, MDK actually played like really solid early game, and they just like capitalized on that.
I mean, we knew that there was a lot of fire coming from the side of these rookies, Eragon, and they showed it up once again, bringing a new champion. We knew that Karma was really strong. I didn't see the champion mid lane, quite too much, but I want to focus on what happened bot lane here, because we said that IgNar needs to be on engaged champions. Didn't work out so well, being dove all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this feels like classic MDK. You moving around as a set 3-man unit, these set plays down bot side with priority in the bot lane, moving with Elyoya and Alvaro and finding plays in the enemy jungle, whether it's invades or dives, they always manage to pull it together.
Yeah, and when it comes to engage, right, we did talk about the fact we want to have that like synergy between Peach and IgNar, and we want IgNar engage. But this was a game where he cannot really engage the way he wants, even though they have an MF and they want to pressure that Senna. It just felt like they were suffocating pretty much on lane, and as we said, they had 3 losing lanes in this game.
Yeah, kind of difficult when you don't have prior, which gave a boulevard, I feel like, to Yoya here, Eragon, who was the maestro here in this Mad Lions early game, leading his team to victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have triple prior lanes, you're open to doing absolutely anything. You can gank bot on every single slow push, you can gank top, you can do absolutely anything you want, because no matter what, you will always have first move.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, like it doesn't look too hot for GX, I'll be honest. Like they have to for sure try to find a way to first, of course, in the draft, try to give some more tools.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like even though they tried to draft to their strength, it didn't feel like they could do anything actually.
I want to take a look at the draft a bit later here, because even though they were not in the best setup to keep the ball running and make something happen here, for me it's also been critical mistakes, individual ones here. Eragon on the side of Peach especially, who we've been praising lately for being a bit more active, didn't have a lot of room to do so here today. But the jungle mid duo from GIANTX today was clearly underperforming. We'll see what happens next.
So I went back and looked at all the games where they were getting leads, because recently they've been struggling, right? And generally the leads they were getting were actually through Jackies and Peach teaming up together with setup in the mid and jungle. Stuff like the Zinzao LeBlanc, stuff like the Maokai plus more setup from the mid lane like the Nico. And then they would transfer that lead down to bot side or wherever and then team fight as well. But this Karma pick, I know you didn't want to talk about draft, but this Karma pick flex neutralized Jackie so much to the point they just could not snowball through mid.
No, but that's the thing, and I think it's important because we've been criticizing GIANTX approach last week and the way they've been preparing draft. We know that Mad Lions has always been, since the beginning of the year, this team that can innovate, bring new things to the table, but also play by the book. Here, they have an advantage, winning the first game. When you look at the side of GIANTX and Jackies, for instance, who is a rookie, how do you expect the team to bounce back, and what do you want to see in the second game here, Trymbi? They will be playing on the same side. Improvements and adjustments, but where?
Well, yeah, when it comes to red side, well, one of the favorite, like, this is like really favorite, at least for me, because it just feels like you can actually find the counter picks to make use of it, right? And sadly, in the game 1, they did not make use of that, right? They had, as we said, 3 losing lanes. They didn't have any like kind of tools to actually play around anything. And when they tried to play around stuff, MDK was just better, right? They had like better 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, and the game just, yeah, went downhill from there. So I really hope that they're gonna get some easier tools. I personally didn't really like the Sejuani. I feel like that champion, especially 1-2, feels like quite weak compared to the other champions like Zinzao that are like much more sufficient in like so many ways. So I really hope there's gonna be a little bit of change in that. and I hope that bot lane will be also able to fight 2v2, because I'll be honest, I felt like bot lane was already doomed from the first wave, the way they were playing like 2v2, you know? And after that happens with an MF lane, I feel like it feels so bad to give Senna so much like options and priority to make use of everything.
Yeah, and that's where I want to give props to MDK's coaching staff, because they clearly did such good scouting. They came to the same conclusions as me, where they target banned Peach by banning away his Maokai and the Xin Zhao, giving him such simple early game where he'd go mid and then snowball using the setup from Jackie's. And that forced Peach to pull out his classic Sejuani that he's played for a very long time, but I just don't rate the Sejuani as much. I really want to see more firepower in the mid and jungle, stuff like Elise and LeBlanc, you know, bring that old classic out.
Now, on the side of Mad Lions Koi, we saw a lot of different stuff from this team, and we know that they like to take risks. And as Melzet was saying in the coach interview before the game, if their players feel something in the moment, he will let them do it. Do you wanna take risks going into this game, or do you think the approach is gonna be, let's keep things simple, guys, and close this out quickly?
I think it depends how you view it, because if it's something that it's not really to prepare, or it's something that they're really interested to see how it's gonna be in an official game, I think sure, let's try it. But if it's something they're actually been preparing for a while, and they're maybe not sure so much, but they have a feeling it's good, I don't think you should actually show it in this game, because when you come as MDK, you're like, yeah, I mean, this series is looking quite good for us as of now, and we didn't really have to change anything outside of just us playing the same game we've been playing in regular split. So for now, it's just about making sure that you stick to your identity, because it looks like it's working against GX as of now.
Do or die, once again, GX on the verge of elimination here. What kind of advice would you give the players before we head into the draft, of course, Eragon?
I think it's incredibly difficult, right? But I'm on the same sort of wavelength as Trymbi. I would make sure to give them a draft that they're very comfortable on and go back to the style that they were actually winning games on in the regular season. There weren't that many wins, but when they were winning, it was through that mid 2v2.
Yeah, and it did feel like, for instance, for me, right, like the picks like MF, I can see, like Patrik is a guy, at least from solo queue, as far as I know, he likes to experiment with different stuff, and he's not scared of like picking out some new champs. Like I don't think MF was like played much if ever.
Yeah.
So it was fine into Senna, but it was not really good in versus enemy team code that they already built upon. So that was like something that felt a bit odd. And as you can see, well, Mad Lions Koi, as you said, Eragon is just Maokai, Xin Zhao, again banning out Peach. We're starting out with the Varus ban, so Supa cannot really fight too much on bot lane. I think it's same bans as they were game one.
Yeah, exact same bans so far. No reason that it would change.
I imagine now they'll follow up with the Karma ban, thank goodness.
Okay.
That was neutralizing Jackie so much. I think maybe the Ivan was a staple ban against Elyoya as well, or the Brand if that's OP. If Brand is open, then I imagine they might just first pick that.
That's true, actually. Brand was banned previously, now we try to change it with Karma, so let's see what's gonna be the third ban, because Brand, it is a quite powerful pick, especially if Peach decides to pick against Sejuani.
They're both, so they're trading them.
Okay, we're basically gonna... I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna be Senna again, maybe it is. It's quite a strong champion, and with the flexibility that they showed, it might be looking good, and yeah, we're seeing it again, the Senna. I'm curious what's gonna be the counter picks, or like the 1-2 picks, because Azir is a solid champion, don't get me wrong, but you have to kind of pair it as well as something that actually can like do something in the game. I felt like Azir Sejuani as a mid-jungle duo is not as oppressive as you would like it to be, as well as you kind of want Azir to both be scaling and kind of be able to fight, and I don't think that's something that Sejuani can provide.
And this is something we see in a lot of the drafts. Their drafts are often very one-dimensional. They'll blind pick Odo, his super comfort, and then pick their jungle and AD often early as well. I really hope we see Peach and Jackie's on some kind of strong 2v2 duo. I think what they were really dead set on was some kind of front-to-back comp with the Azir and Sejuani in the front line, but it looks like they might change that with the early proactivity on the Rell.
I mean, I really like it. Like Odoamne on Rumble, that's a champion that's, oh my god, in 2021 he was getting banned off all the time because it was his like signature champion. So I really hope it's gonna be looking
Is it
good.
still as good though? Because we know that he's a master of the champion, but it's been there from this patch.
Ah, the Rumble. I mean, you already got a pretty nice setup, which is Rell, and you flex it, so I believe it's a nice pick. Let's see if they're gonna, I don't know, maybe look for like a Poppy angle. For now, it's just Akali, so they want to give some more like threat into an enemy team. I wouldn't like to see Ivern specifically here. I think with Akali, you kind of want to match with more aggressive jungler. Oh, okay, actually, Sejuani Akali sounds I would say it does sound fine with especially Senna on their side, because there's actually any kind of front line that Senna can like work with. What I assume now will happen with GX is that they're gonna either look for a mid counter on Akali, unless they think the Akali is a counter to Rumble, but I don't think that is the case, because I don't think... Back in the day, it used to be like a Hex Drinker meta. Okay, it's Jhin, so basically we decide to mismatch bot lane, and we don't want to fight unless we're gonna get a good matchup, which might happen, because we have a last pick, right? So Jhin is just a neutralizer, which I would say he's quite of a good one. The only issue is you see already Sejuani, if you're gonna see another tank, which might...
or something?
Yes, which might be a counter to Rumble, because that's what we actually see a lot of times. Well, then it's gonna be a bit annoying. They already go for Tamkench ban as well, which I would say is a really good ban with like champs we already have.
Yeah, probably gonna maybe a Nautilus ban as well, banning away the pairings. That's also a good duo with Sejuani.
I'm thinking actually if it's not gonna be Mad Lions Koi who ban Nautilus, but we'll see that, because think about it, maybe you want to just go like the Leona and just actually fight bot lane, because Leona Jhin, quite of an old school duo, but they already have the Damwon skins together, so it is actually a bot lane that can pull off quite a lot of miracles. I'm not sure if in this match, but sure. Well, actually they banned Talia, so I guess they're thinking it might be, but I don't see much of a reason. Maybe it's actually good 1v1. Okay, there is a Hui ban as well. I think it's a pretty good... I think Hui has a really good setup, but I'm not sure if you want to have that much AP. Okay, I'm not sure if they should actually go for Nautilus.
I wonder what AD mid they're gonna pair up the Sejuani with, because if you go an AP mid here, you're gonna be really overstacked, I feel like, topside.
Yes.
So maybe, what are your AD mids that synergize well with Sejuani? Yone?
I mean, knowing Fresskowy... Oh, he actually likes to play Ezreal. It might be Ezreal mid, even though it's blind. I think he likes one of those champions. I don't know how good it is this game.
Oh no.
Maybe it's just Corki. Maybe you just think about Corki though. I mean, I would say maybe it's too much AP damage actually.
Tristana.
Okay, Tristana, I guess. Okay, yeah, sure. That makes absolute sense. I mean, they did pick Nautilus, so Braum angle is fine. It's quite of a good neutralizer, but they have a last pick on mid lane. And I'm really curious how they're gonna salvage all of it.
Orianna maybe? They need some kind of... It's a good matchup into the Tristana.
But then they lack kind of the base damage, like the constant damage, right? With Jhin, Rumble, it's more like a burst champs or like the champions that want to set up. Okay, we're going full poke, full like, kind of all-in way. I'm not sure how is the Jayce Tristana matchup. I do think it's a bit better for Triss when it comes to scaling. But I think what's gonna be happening a lot, first bot lane, even though it's a Braum, I think Jhin, Nautilus can actually look for stuff with Rell. And second is how the top lane will go versus Akali versus Rumble. But do you have any like idea how it could look nowadays?
I imagine the Rumble gets early shoved for a long time, but then Myrwn, we've seen he's very good on Akali. He actually flexed this before, so I was suspicious if it was going to be a flex pick early on. But yeah, I imagine the skirmishing is pretty good with the melee topside.
Looking at both compositions like this, given what Mad Lions has been able to do in Game 1 in the crushing way, they defeat GIANTX. Who do you expect is going to take this one?
I think I would say this draft might favor GX just because of how much tools and like poke they have, and I think like the champions they get make quite a bit of sense into enemies. But again, right, enemy team has Tristana with Braum, they have a Senna, and they have like a Sejuani, which most of the times is quite tanky. It feels like the front to back for the left side is just so oppressive that it might not be even like worth picking so much poke and setup from the other side.
It's about how much uptime the carries are going to get versus that poke, you know, dropping the Rumble R as well as the Jayce poke and the Jhin R. So it'll have to be down to execution, I think.
Let's see if Mad Lions Koi's domination continue here in Game 2 as we leave it with Vedi.
Thank you very much, Laure. We are into Game 2 of this series. Things continue the way they did in Game 1. We'll be heading home in about 25 minutes. Vedi, Mad Lions just dominating. Absolutely one-sided stomp. GIANTX have a few more tools in their toolkit this game, though. Obviously, Odoamne picking up his Rumble. Played that once so far in Winter, won on it. But we do have Jackie's, Patrik, and IgNar all first timing, at least for 2024. They're champions on the bottom and middle of the map.
I am very curious as to how this early prio is going to work. We think back to Game 1, the biggest reason why Mad Lions quite won that early game, they had pushing lanes everywhere. right? And the composition in of itself from GIANTX didn't matter. And sometimes like that's the case, right? You kind of look at a draft and its totality, and you believe, well, okay, like if these comps fight, this team should win. But at the pro level, it's never quite as simple as that. And Mad Lions demonstrated for his last game why that's the case. So we've been seeing them try to get more prio this week. Last week we saw Akali from Fresskowy. We also saw the Ezreal. Ezreal was a neutralizer. The Akali wasn't a great performance from him. But game one, he went for the Karma. This time he's going for the Tristana. Both champions that are really good at getting that push in lane. And credit to Fresskowy, he moves a lot with Elyoya. He does a really good job of working with his jungler to work with where they have pressure. This bot lane should be a little bit different compared to what we saw last time round. Braum, while a pretty powerful duelist, thanks to his passive in the other game, against this Jhin, I'm curious as to if they have more power. It looks like Senna still wins.
And concussive blows is just so powerful in the 2v2, and when you get unbreakable as well for Alvaro, it becomes very hard for IgNar to ever hook in, because you hook in, you're met by a shield that blocks all of Jin's 4 shots, and then it can be a big struggle for IgNar to ever get out of the play.
You also have a few options on Braum too. You could go back to your teammate when the engage comes through, or you can actually just run at the other AD carry to just lock him up, right? Your slow from your Q is still very powerful. So
what's he going to do? Auto your shield?
Yeah, exactly, right? So, and then Braum will still have the W afterwards once he realizes that the other support is kind of isolated. Anyway, on the top side of the map is the matchup I'm actually the most curious about, because Akali, well, she loves melee matchups. She favors when you kind of have to come into her. The extended range that she has on her Q is really nice into these shorter range champions.
Wait, Peach is going to jump this wall,
I see Peach. Level 3, looking for another gank bot lane.
No pings. Elyoya didn't spot him. He's going to jump across the wall, look for that invade. This is so smart, actually, from GIANTX, because they know MDK have been playing around the prio in the bottom lane to look for the invades. Here, they preempt the fact that Elyoya is going to invade. Supa having to get away with the flash heal burnt already. Alvaro now trying to escape as well. Still only level 2, but Elyoya pulls away from the blue buff, comes across for the gank, flashes forward, lands on Peach. Peach re-engages. Patrik has no shots left. Nothing left in the gun right now as the stun lands onto Peach. Patrik reloads, but just not in time. MDK react well to the change of play from GIANTX. IgNar stunned up, no flash for him, but concussive blows won't proc in time.
Wow. So, Mad Lion Koi's bot lane do a good job of moving from the lane into the river. They don't try and retreat back to the tower because they know even if this jungler is creating this gank from behind, their jungler is still in the bot side river. So as soon as they can close that gap, the better. Alvaro does a good job of mitigating a lot of the damage thanks to his shield, and they buy enough time to turn this one around. So the gank is going to come through, only level 2 for the bot lane. The heal immediately popped and the flash. Great response. But then look at how much this is mitigating with the shield from Alvaro. They then turn their attention to him. The 4th shot is then going to come out from Patrik. And like, what other damage does he have? Nice engage from Elyoya. The re-engage from Peach, they think it's enough, but they just don't quite have the damage. And now Peach is isolated from his team. And again, it's this Sejuani Braum double passive just gives so much utility and damage in this early game that Mad Lions Koi find themselves another first blood.
Patrik uses the 4th shot into an aftershock Sejuani as well, while the aftershock's active, so it's even tankier. Very difficult for GIANTX to win out that fight. As soon as Elyoya joined, you could see they were trying to preempt it. It was smart play initially to get round and get the gank off, but as you say, very well coordinated by MDK to escape it. Once again, they are out to an early lead. IgNar now teaming up with Peach, trying to get some vision in here on Elyoya, who was unable to steal away as many camps as he did in game 1 because that fight did begin. Patrik and IgNar here as well for the grubs. Now the wave is being held in the bottom lane. We'll see if that's frozen by Alvaro or whether or not he's just trying to hold it outside of the tower so that Supa can get there in time. IgNar going forward. Fresskowy jumps away from the dredge line. And Patrik and IgNar will work their way back down towards bot as the wave starts to crash in towards their turret.
Should be a Dragon Star here for Mad Lions Koi. You can see GIANTX don't want to give it away completely uncontested. Rell clears those grubs very quickly. But already the push is coming in from Mad Lions Koi.
They're gating really well here. They're making it very difficult for Patrik and IgNar to get back down towards the bottom lane because they can anticipate, hey, we started to shove the wave in bot. They're going to try and get back down here. We know IgNar was around mid, so if we can catch him out, it gives us more time for Supa to push in the wave, get some damage on this tower, and deny XP from Patrik and IgNar.
But they can't spend too much time here because notice that Jackie's is already here. This will be a 3v4.
Peach dives in, the root on Alvaro as well. Supa stunned up, and Jackies comes in. Patrik takes the kill. Supa down first. Alvaro sacrificed as well as Elyoya limps his way away. 2 kills over to GIANTX.
And this is exactly what I was just talking about. They initially respected the fact that Fresskowy wouldn't be able to move as easily as Jackies was. He cleared out that mid wave and he had immediate access to his side of the jungle, whereas Fresskowy would have been forced to go all the way around. Regardless though, MDK still tried to force a fight. This time, though, they had the additional damage of Jackies, and they were able to find 2 kills. Elyoya, though, is still hovering around bot lane. Supa and Alvaro will make their way back. This is a huge minion wave, though.
Can't fight that.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it, because even if you get a kill, is it worth all the experience and gold that that wave would contain? Just look at the minimap here. You can see that Jackies is underneath this tower, and sorry, Fresskowy is underneath his tower, whereas Jackies has already made his way over to the fight, and that extra damage was all they really needed. They get a kill handed over to Patrik. Do they end up giving it? No, they end up giving the other kill over to Jackies, so it ends up being a kill for both carries, and GIANTX finally find themselves with a small gold lead for now, and definitely a relief from all of the pressure that Mad Lions Koi have been putting on them ever since the start of last game.
Yeah, probably the first bit of sloppiness we've seen from MDK as well. They didn't need to push forward for the fight. They could have just satisfied themselves with denying a few CS to that tower, getting a bit of chip damage down towards the first plate, which seems to have fallen. Instead, they look for the fight, and because of it, they lose both of their bot lane and their support's lives. Still a lead, though, for Supa in terms of CS. You can see he's 63, 64, about to tick over to 46. Only a slight gold lead because of the kill that Patrik did acquire.
Keep my eyes on mid as Peach is hovering around the lane, has the level 6 now. But nope, nothing really going to come off the back of it. Elyoya just going to be clearing through his bot side, getting close to his level 6. He should be able to secure it after red buff. But with no major objectives on the board at play, unlikely that we're going to see anything too chaotic. Just a bit of trading back and forth. The grubs will be spawning relatively soon. You imagine that will be Peach's prerogative to try and get. And credit to Myrwn, he's kept this matchup very even. I expected it to be a little bit more favored towards the Rumble, especially running the Comet. We've seen, I believe it was Myrwn that we saw do this last time, where, of course, you can use your Q to reduce the cooldown of your Comet, which means that, you know, it's a pretty effective trading tool in the top side of the map, but Fleet Footwork just gives you way more sustain, which is often what I would have thought that you would need against a Rumble. But hey, Myrwn still, regardless, doing a very good job. Has a small CS advantage, which should be closed by Odoamne catching that wave any second. And grubs now in 35 seconds.
Another plate falling in the mid lane, no one there to pick it up though. Jackie's the only red gold lead for GIANTX right now, about 200 gold ahead and even gold between the two teams. Looks like IgNar's going to reset, not yet level 6, I don't think he's in range for the XP from these, so won't get it before he bases. He'll team up with Peach to look towards those grubs, as you say, coming up in about 15 seconds time. Elyoya's on that side of the map as well.
The difference is, IgNar is making his way out onto the map first, but he's not level 6 yet, whereas Alvaro is. Would love to see IgNar making his way over. Oh,
Ignite. Odo's dead. Yeah, he's just dead.
Oh, the shield.
No, I think Ignite still gets him. It's enough for Myrwn. A blasting wand enough to take down the Rumble. Remember, without his mech, he's just a little Yordle. You can always kill him.
Flawlessly done there from Myrwn. Very well played. Akali does have a lot of trade potential. Wasn't expecting that tower dive to come through, though. Credit to Myrwn. Now the Herald's fight. But the numbers...
Favor of Mad. Out from Alvaro. Elyoya going in. Currently, it's a 4v3 in favor of GIANTX, but Supa joins the fray. Peach diving in. Alvaro able to escape, and Peach getting burst down by MDK. A huge investment from GIANTX to try and get these grubs. Instead, they lose their jungler, and they'll lose at least one of these. Odo could look for a steal, decides against it, doesn't really want to invest anything into taking away one of these grubs. Going to be 3 for 3. Honors even in terms of the grubbies.
I underestimated. I thought that Myrwn would actually just go straight from top down towards the fight. I guess he argued, you know what, I'm too low on basing, guys. It ends up being a 4 versus 4. I guess that's why GIANTX actually thought they could win the fight, because they were saying, hey, Patrik is going to be here before Supa will, so it should be in our favor, but the amount of stall that Braum Sejuani has is excessive. And even in this early game, just because of the Unbreakable, they just have so much durability. And the Sejuani passive, it's just, it's a lot.
And you have extra CC coming out from the Senna, you've got damage from her, you've got healing, you've got the Tristana who's able to free fire, and you've got Jayce getting caught out here in the mid lane. Dawning Shadow coming across. Jayce has the flash, and Fresskowy saves his life by knocking him away with the Buster Shot. A little bit of a miscalculation there. Fresskowy did the maths, but damn, he's bad at it as he kicks him away to safety. He will still get some damage on the tower in the mid lane.
I guess he believed that with the explosion from his E and the ultimate, that would be enough burst damage, but that health pot doing wonders for Jayce, keeping him at just above the required HP. I thought that they would just siege for this tower. They decided, you know what, we need to go back to base. We need to reset, spend some of our gold. Very close call there for Jayce, but the gold lead still mounting in favor of Mad Lions Koi. Liandry's actually picked up for Myrwn. I mean, I've seen a lot of Akali builds. Comet with Liandry's Rush is definitely on the lower end of ones that I've seen.
You're going to pick it up for your solo queue.
Not that I have any criticism towards it, of course. Like, it's just, just so many build variations. I have to imagine that this one is more about like chipping away your opponents, and obviously you can take full advantage of the passive because you're in fights for so long. Anyway, the Dragon being started off by GIANTX. Supa still needs to make his way down. I don't think he's going to get there in time. And Mad Lions Koi, I think, should just prioritize that mid-tier 1. Let's see what they decide to do, though.
Alvaro will step forward, the Drake taken. MDK just trying to stop GIANTX from having a free route towards this mid lane. Fresskowy pushing forward. There's the Glacial Fissure going down. Unbreakable used as well as Peach falls low. Elyoya diving in. Equalizer on the back line. Not able to get the damage down here from Odoamne. Myrwn, though, diving forward. They've taken out one already as Fresskowy gets the kill. Jacky's forced away. The rest of GIANTX still trying to get back towards that mid lane. The curtain's open. Will they close on Elyoya? Again, the Unbreakable eats a shot, but Alvaro eats his death. Fresskowy now diving forward. Jayce and Odoamne low, looking for the resets, can't find them. Glacial Prison flashed by Patrik. Supa still stepping in, looking for a bit more damage. Last embrace, the stun. This cleanse not enough to allow Patrik to escape.
Great awareness of his damage output there. Supa finds an extra kill onto Patrik. I believe that ended up being a 3-for-1, maybe a 3-for-2 in favor of Mad Lions Koi. They would love to secure that mid tower as well, but if he overstays TP coming in, I don't think Odo can get anything here. His ult isn't back up, or is it?
No. That's about halfway off its cooldown.
Okay, my apologies.
You gave us a moment of tension, though. It's like one of those murder mysteries where you know exactly who's done it, but it's like, oh, but did the policeman do it with the carton of milk?
I thought that they would just act as zoners to try and allow for Supa and Fresskowy to get the tower. They go all in. They get a good amount of damage onto Peach, who's able to get away to safety. But then Myrwn comes in, cleans up the explosive shot, ends up getting it. Then you know what, they back away. They realize, you know what, we can't get anything more of that. GIANTX trying to retreat, Mad Lions Koi trying to retreat. Then Patrik said, hey, still got this ultimate available. I think this could be a good fight. IgNar with the re-engage, but Alvaro blocks so much damage from both Odoamne and Patrik. They end up trading 1-for-1, but with this numbers advantage, they think that they can keep chasing. They get the flash out then from Patrik, and then Supa. I think Patrik wasn't expecting this. He reacted incredibly well. Good cleanse, but the damage was far too much, and Supa secures another kill.
Supa on the Senna having an excellent series so far. 46 stacks on him, 14 minutes into the game. So definitely doing a lot of work for his team. Patrik steps forward here. The control wall cleared out by Elyoya and Myrwn, but this will be the mid lane tier 1 falling and a 3,000 gold lead materializing for MDK after a much more even early game than game 1.
For sure. I mean, they're finding great fights again, and I just think G2 picked up the Senna, Mad Lions, Koi picking up the Senna. I think Senna is really strong. I do think some teams are sleeping on the power of this pick. I feel like the whole idea is like, oh, she scales, you know, she's really good in the late game, but I'm yet to see teams successfully punish this champion in the laning phase. And perhaps there are better teams out there that are better at punishing this champion, but in Europe, they are struggling to do just that.
All right, Betty, I have been away for a little while, but having watched today and a few of the VODs, I can say there are definitely better teams out there. Okay?
Well, you don't know that for certain, okay? You gotta give me something, man.
I know you went to the dentist recently. Did you get a prescription for that copium? Some powerful stuff you're on right now, man.
Koi putting their focus towards the bot side of the map. Dragon's running around minute 45. And again, they're creating this 4-1 setup. They love this setup. They've been using it all season long. Usually it's Myrwn sitting in the isolated lane. This time, though,
I don't think the Rift Tower is really necessary.
Oh, there he is. He's with the rest of his team.
Here we go. Charging forward. Jumps away.
But look at Fresskowy mid lane as well. He's just chipping away at that tower. They're more than happy to concede this tier 2 in the top lane.
It's exactly the exchange that GIANTX took in game 1 as well. Jackie's was pushing in top. They had bounties at that point, but he'll take 2 towers in exchange for 3 or 2.5. MDK could look for more. They'll take away the jungle. Jackie's will be able to finish off that tier 2, as you say, but it's still only an even tower trade, and you're losing your entire jungle.
My question is, do Mad Lions Koi choose to reset ahead of the dragon spawning?
I think they might fight, Betty, as the Glacial Prison hits onto Peach. He tries to jump away, but he's locked up, knocked up, and almost taken out of the fray. The explosive shot will be enough. Fresskowy goes on a killing spree, 3-0 on the Tristana.
Yeah. That was ambitious by Peach to try and steal away the blue. He ends up getting punished. 7 kills to 3. 4K is the gold lead.
Pear-shaped for Peach?
Well, no. Because he's not a pear, he's a peach. Man.
Yeah, but pear-shaped, it means it went poorly.
But he's a peach, man. Another tower secured for Mad Lions Koi. Dragon is spawning. 15 seconds, curtain call.
That should be fine. Elyoya can tank a couple of these. Fresskowy will tank one as well. Odoamne looking for a little bit more. Does have that equalizer, but where's the rest of the follow-up? You burnt the curtain call. IgNar comes in, just trying to stop the recalls from MDK. They don't do those, but they can just recall a little bit further away and they'll be fine.
But while that was happening, Myrwn, unsurprisingly, went mid, pushed another wave. I mean, this team, they're doing a great job of playing around the lanes. They will concede a dragon, not the end of the world. They did spend a lot of time on the bot side of the map. They were sitting on a lot of gold. I'm curious as to what Fresskowy will buy. Will we see a fully completed item? Oh, not quite. Opponents working their way up there, though. But now, what do Mad Lions do? They turn their attention to the top side. You look at the minimap, and immediately they make a beeline towards mid lane. Their bot lane has already pushed in that wave. Tristana is going to go and catch. The vision is already being invested into the top side jungle. And that means that they're going to secure another objective. Mad Lions Koi are doing a great job in this mid game of just putting the pressure down. And the fact that they always control 2 lanes means that they always just get that bit more. They grow that gold lead ever so slightly. And they should be able to continue this siege. Resets are actually coming through for this team, or some of the members of the team, I should say. The Baron is spawning in a minute 20, so I wonder if they say, you know what, we're happy to just take this tower for now. We're going to go and catch bot wave. We have TPs for Fresskowy, so why don't we send him to get that extra bit of gold to complete that second item, and then we can make immediately back. They can move back towards the Baron to start contesting that objective.
I was trying to work out where Fresskowy was going with this build. Caulfield's Vamp Scepter and Pickaxe don't really build into anything. I think the Vamp Scepter might just be to sit on. The
That was my suspicion, yes.
Caulfield's in the Pickaxe to build into something else, but we'll see. I think the removal of mythics in the game has allowed a little bit more flexibility in terms of build, which I quite like, considering mythics were introduced originally to provide more flexibility in terms of builds. I think we finally got to that point, which is nice.
I mean, I'm having a lot of fun playing the game right now.
Do you ever get to a point in the game? I do it a lot with supports where I'm like, I've got Locket, I can't get Shurelias now, because in my head you can't get them both, right? Because they were both mythics. And then halfway through the game, my Twitch chat will be like, hey, Medic, why haven't you bought Shurelias? What are you doing?
The only thing that annoys me is that I'm an Akali one-trick now.
Okay, that annoys me too, but we go ahead.
But the game keeps telling me to build, like, when I finish my 3 items, it's like, you should build Void Staff, or you should build Zhonya's. And I'm like, why aren't you recommending Death Cap?
It has seen your playstyle, Betty. Yeah, there's an avoid second. So the Vamp Scepter was just to sit on for Fresskowy. Now Mad Lions pushing in the top side of the map. They've already cleared off the turrets everywhere outside of the base of GIANTX, except for this lone tier 2 in the top lane. Supa continues to chip away at this tower. 60 stacks for him. Jackie's slowed, but just forced away enough that MDK can tank up the turret and take it. The inhibitor tower in the mid lane falls. Myrwn trying to flank here will get hooked. Riptide going out as well from IgNar as Myrwn, no flash on him. Won't be taken out, no more damage remaining. Really, the equalizer will not kill him, but the curtain call will. 1-for-1 trade so far as Peach balls as well. Fresskowy's now going to open up on Odoamne, who's gone a very, very long way from home. And it's a 2-for-1 exchange in the end in favor of MDK.
With the jungler dead, that could be the window that MDK are looking to jump through to secure this Baron. With 3 members still alive, GIANTX could look to contest. They do have decent range. You're looking at a Jhin and a Jayce here. The curtain call is available. Let's see if they can get to cooking.
Let's see what GIANTX decide to do. I think curtain call was used in the last fight. That might be a graphical overlay bug there. As Patrik steps forward, Elyoya is low. He'll get taken out. Fresskowy now opens up and jumps and Goomba stomps Patrik to the floor. IgNar next on the menu is going to be a triple for Fresskowy. 7-0 now on the Tristana.
So the Baron ends up not being secured by Mad Lions Koi, but they do take out another 3 members of GIANTX. The gold lead continues to mount. Resets are going to come through. Dragon spawning in about a minute's time. They could turn their attention towards it. But overall, I've really enjoyed the way in which Mad Lions just keep trying to accelerate the game. They keep trying to push forward. But in this situation, it's them starting off the Baron. GIANTX finding a window with good damage initially onto Elyoya. He turns onto Patrik. The shield isn't quite enough to protect him, so he ends up losing his life to Jackies, but then Fresskowy, untouched on the backline, gets the resets on his W. Kill after kill after kill, triple for the mid laners of MDK.
Yeah, it's had a really good performance on the Tristana in this game. I saw a few people saying they put him on the Karma in game 1 because you don't have to have as much of a carry impact on a champion in the form of a Karma. Obviously, you can still do a lot of work, but here on the Tristana, he's really showing up. Has 7 of his team's 12 kills and a 7,000 gold lead for MDK. They'll keep trying to force the tempo. Peach caught out a little bit. Concussive blows not procced as IgNar steps around the corner to try and help his jungler, but MDK have total control of this top side. Still that tier 2 remains for GIANTX, that last bastion of hope outside their base. Root lands onto Alvaro. He puts up the Unbreakable. Supa looking for the stun. Glacial Prism going down as Peach falls low, but he does have the time to jump away. And now Elyoya is a little bit split from the rest of the team. Fresskowy is coming in from the side here as well, though, as he could look for Patrik and IgNar. Doesn't quite join up with the team in time, but in the end, MDK's foray into the jungle does secure them some Razor Beaks and some vision, which will have to be cleared out by GIANTX.
Yoga ult and Alvaro ult were used in that exchange, but they don't quite secure the kill. Overall, they do get very good vision into the top side of GIANTX's jungle. They can start off this Dragon. Completely forgot about that objective with all of the priority being centered around that top side and the Baron. There's little that GIANTX can do to contest this. Fresskowy's going to come over and help him clear that one out alongside Supa.
I mean, the benefit for GIANTX is they've taken 2 of these. So it's not like this is getting MDK onto Soul Point. It's not like they have to worry too much about a Mountain Soul too soon, which would be very powerful on a Sejuani and a Braum. Just makes you that much tankier, that much harder to deal with. And with GIANTX falling behind in terms of gold, they'll fall behind in terms of damage as well. Jackies is at 3 items, so he'll start putting down some DPS, but it's hard when he's really your main damage source against a Sejuani and a Braum.
The components are now complete for Fresskowy, though. Bloodthirster finished as well. Means that he's strong. This Tristana is terrifying, if he wasn't already. GIANTX doing what they can to not lose all control of their topside jungle. The top wave pushed in once more. Observers highlighting what GIANTX can see. And it's not very much. The mid wave is constantly pushed in. That ward on the top side of the map offering a little bit of information.
Okay, so there's Farsight number 1. I believe they have 2 more. There's Farsight number 2. Well, that's just a ward across the wall. IgNar, no wards left in his inventory. There's Farsight number 2. You know, it's down to about 5,000. Unbreakable comes out from Alvaro. Curtain call being held on. 2-second bullet fired out. There's the 3rd one left in the chamber. Myrwn. A good flank position. There's the 4th. It's Alvaro. Hook goes in onto IgNar. Jackie's going to join the fight as Myrwn tries to keep him away. And Jackie's tried to flash a shuriken but couldn't get away in time. Myrwn just assassinates the backline. Patrik low, Peach down to 2/3 as well, but Elyoya, Supa and Fresskowy are forced off towards the top side here. Odoamne flashing forward, Glacial Prison going wide, Supa flashing away. The heal as well for a little bit of extra movement speed, but Peach now has a good flank position off as Myrwn does have the TP and is about to reset. Can he find a way to join this fight? IgNar flashing in as they catch out Elyoya. Good hook onto Fresskowy as well, but he still has his flash, and there's the TP behind by Myrwn. The Dawning Shadow goes wide. IgNar down there, and Fresskowy, he can see the resets in his eyes. He jumps on 1, he jumps on 2. He gets a double for Myrwn too.
Mad Lions Koi make the fight work out. The ace is secured. And that's going to unlock the Baron. so much of my focus at the start of that fight was on Myrwn. His flank looked so good, and I thought that that was going to be a one fight. But on the left side, the front line from Alvaro disappears. He ends up losing his life. Just keep your eyes on Myrwn here. Gets this execution. A really nice combination on the back line, though, between Peach and Odoamne. Sets up GIANTX beautifully. The problem is Myrwn is going to go back to base and then TP back into the fight. And all Mad Lions Koi are doing are buying time. Supa gets a bit of a heal, does good damage, stalling where he can. They're going to get a nice interrupt onto Peach here with the Q from Elyoya. And then even though Elyoya loses his life, they recognize, hang on a minute, we've got more than enough damage to kill here. They've got full HP on all the carries. And yeah, it just becomes a slaughter. Well played from Mad Lions Koi. A great TP from Myrwn to solidify the fight, the Baron, and very likely the game.
A little bit messier here from MDK, but still in commanding position. 26 minutes in. They are 10,000 gold ahead. They have Baron buff for the next 2 minutes, and they've already cracked an inhibitor. You can see Fresskowy in this 1-4 split is down in the bottom lane, getting that next wave forward. MDK can walk through the base. It's a little trickier, as GIANTX could collapse as they go forward. IgNar, Hex flashing, Alvaro with a good Glacial Fissure. Lands on 2, the prison on Odo as well, and he doesn't even have time to use the equalizer. Peach dives forward with the Magnet Storm, but he's immediately assassinated as MDK find 2. It's up to Patrik, Jackies, and IgNar to try and defend, to try and fight for GIANTX's lives here in the Winter Split. But MDK have a date with Vitality on Monday, it seems, and they do not want to be late. The curtains open, but the curtains on Winter will fall for GIANTX. MDK are looking for more as IgNar locked up, stunned up. The flash forward onto Patrik. Jackies gets onto the back line, but Patrik's down, Jackie's down, and MDK are through to the next round.
Another impressive game, and overall a very clean performance on the day. Mad Lions Koi should be very happy with what they showed, and they are looking strong going into that series against Vitality on Monday. Very excited for that one. But just great mid-game macro control. Overall, a very solid performance. But of course, commiserations to GIANTX. That will end their Winter Split. We will, of course, see them again in spring.
Yeah, see them again in about a month's time. You can vote for your key player of the series at LEC on X. Elyoya, Fresskowy, and Alvaro are your options. All of them had very strong performances.
Oh, yeah.
I think Alvaro's Braum really good. So did Fresskowy's Tristana. Elyoya, obviously, the early game kind of it's set up by the fact that his bot lane had
a great
cryo.
team performance.
Yeah.
Like they played the map very well. On top of playing their team fights well, of course, but just great utilization of where you had your advantages. And I mean, if you want to contrast it to the first series of the day, like we heard Dos talking about how with the compositions it was hard for them to continue pushing their lead. Like Mad Lions Koi made it look easy, repeatedly.
The games were kind of carbon copies of each other as well. It was like play through bot, push in, try and look for that first blue, try and steal camps, then play that 4-1 split between mid and bot when you have the Rift Herald, charge forward. It was very well done. Obviously, GIANTX tried to fight back a lot more in this game, but still, Mad Lions just clean with it. Just clean with it.
Very impressive stuff. GIANTX, they're going to have to reevaluate their approach to the game moving into spring. They didn't have the best debut with the roster changes that they did make coming into this year. Sure. They ended up finishing the regular season towards the bottom end of the standings, and not winning a single game in playoffs is going to be frustrating for a lot of these players, especially with Odoamne and XL making it all the way to the finals of the summer season last year. So he's hoping that they can bounce back strong here in spring.
Yeah, we'll see how they are able to bounce back when we get towards the spring split. But for now, we're going to hand it over to Trouble, who is standing by with Elyoya.
Thank you very much, Medic. Elyoya, congratulations. Swift series versus GIANTX. Was it as expected?
Yeah, I think we're always really confident into every team, even though not always we win like this. But the expectations for us is always to win convincingly, and I think today we showed.
Absolutely, and with that, you also shattered some expectations on tier lists. Do you have anything on that matter?
Well, I mean, I think this tier list topic has been going for too long. Like, I think it's just people don't have really idea of what they are talking about, and they just talk without knowing. So, you know, like, I'm fine with that. It's nothing new. I already knew. So.
Yeah, you are getting backed up by 4 ERL players who have made their debut in the LEC, and it's going fantastically well. Now, I want to dig a little bit into the perception of new rookies coming over to the LEC, you know, like the old 2021 KC. How would they have done in the LEC? But now you're bringing it to life. You literally have a bunch of players that had never played on the stage before, and they're doing so well. Is it something that can shatter that perception of like new rookie players coming in and not achieving as much as they should?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly really dislike the label of rookie because I think it just sets you up for failure in a way that you're accepting that, oh, I'm not going to do as well because I'm a rookie. I feel like this is, in a way, putting excuses to yourself. Like, you are a player as any other, and maybe you don't have the capabilities of more experience, but you have others. You are more willing to play, like you get more adrenaline. I think there is just many other things that you have in your favor. So I really hate when people just say, oh, they can't perform because they are rookies. I feel like that's, yeah, not good.
I mean, with your history coming in as a rookie back then and shattering everyone on the Rift would also make a big example. Now, I want to ask you what your role is in helping them develop as the most experienced one in the team.
Well, mostly I think I take care of the gaming. Like, I try to put everyone in the same page and shot call for the team because I think that's like the harder part. And I always try, or I always make sure that I sound confident so they are not doubting, because this is what scares me the most, that since they haven't been playing for this long in stage, they can crumble upon the people or the crowd. So I always try to be a support for them. But honestly, they are doing great and they don't really need me. Like you can see today how they were just playing as much as they could.
Absolutely, and also the expectation was that maybe they would play for you and you would play the carries in the jungle. But we've seen some Ivan shenanigans, we've seen some Sejuani step backs a little bit. You're taking a little bit the backseat when it comes to carrying. Is that the trust to your team, or does it also help when you shot call to play a champion that's mechanically not as intensive as others?
I think it's mostly meta, and also the fact that I don't know, I just got meta right now is, I don't like it, it's just tanks. So
Dog champions in the jungle?
There is not many. The few that there are, like, I'm slowly trying to so I can play it, but yeah. I think it's, for now it's like this, but I can't keep this tank meta for long. I'll have to pull out some Kiana or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Lee Sin, Kiana, you know, I've heard Talon is kind of good with the new items as well. I'm trying to influence here. Now, of course, your support would have to step up and play more tanks, right? Just so you can be freed more to play in the jungle, more carry champions. Do you have anything to say to him? Because he's waiting on the other side in PGL.
It's more to my top laner. Please stop having so much fun. Play tanks already. Like, my support is on Nautilus duty. Cannot say anything to him. But my top laner is just enjoying the game too much.
All right, back to Myrwn we goes. Thank you very much, Elyoya, for joining me. We're going to send it over to PGL, where Laure is accompanied by Trymbi and Alvaro.